everyone and welcome back. It's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I am sharing the brand new relaunch of the Potomac Beads Best Bead Box. This one is called the Treasure Edition, which is the new version of their former base box. So since this is newer, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about what this one includes and hopefully provide you with a lot of helpful details about how this one differs from the previous base box. To sign up and to also find out all of the details about the subscription, you can click on the link right down below the video. It's in the description section. It'll take you right to that page with all the information you need to know and the different options for signing up. This particular one is as low as $29.99 per month, depending on how long you sign up. They have a monthly billing price and also quarterly and annual billing, so that drops the price down when you average it out on a monthly basis. And in addition to the Treasure Edition, which we're going to look at, they also have a Kit Edition, which replaces their former XL version of the box. And that price point is one that starts at $49.99 per month, depending on how long you sign up. It's my understanding that they ship out their subscriptions on the 7th. And if you were to sign up today for this new version of the box, they will still ship out your box right away, and you'll get the same version that you see here. That, of course, is until we get into the following month, at which point they would send you the next month's package, which would be February's. So if you're familiar with their previous subscriptions, you'll note that these come in the same exact type of box. I reuse these. They're great for storage and they have a magnetic closure. So they're a great box to have around and to use for organization. We open this up and we see that we have some inserts at the top. This first one giving a great rundown or list of things you can expect to find in the Treasure Edition. And we'll go through those. It says that it works for those who are interested in stringing, bead weaving, and freeform stitching. They're stating that it is larger than the former box in terms of the contents. You'll receive 10 to 20 assorted packs of stash beads. That means the beads that you're going to get are not going to go with a particular kit. They're just going to be ones you can use along with other beads from your stash or with some of their videos that go specifically with these boxes, because there's going to be a lot of inspiration from them and other designers who are using these boxes as well. It says these boxes may include a new collection each month. The colorways of those could change. 2 to 3 inspiration videos provided for each box at least, and they're promising that the contents will include things like crystals, check glass, pearls, seed beads, premium metals, and more. There's nothing on the back of this sheet. On our next insert, it says, in our buried treasure theme, we'll be finding some bright copper tones, one-of-a-kind vintage check glass, and exotic shapes and colors. On the back of this sheet, it looks like we have the list of everything that's included if you want to refer back to that for any reason. There's actually 16 different items listed. And here is a sneak peek at the box contents before we take a close-up look at everything. So some extra information I want to be sure to point out in this video is that you're going to be receiving some items that are potentially exclusive only to subscribers and not even available on PotomacBeads.com, and potentially new products before they're even available on PotomacBeads.com. And the pack quantities of what you're receiving are promised to be larger than what we saw in the former base box. So we're getting complete strands, it looks like, from the peak that I'm seeing in here, instead of smaller bagged quantities of items, just as one example. And they're also promising the contents will be at a 50% or more discount versus retail pricing. I won't go too much into detail about the kit version of the box, which is larger, because I don't have that here and I don't want to cause any confusion. But just note that that other larger box is one if you are more interested in getting 2 to 3 kits per month with patterns and the beads to go along with those patterns. That's what you'll find in the larger version, and it says that those will be new kits, not ones that already exist at PotomacBeads.com, and therefore won't be something that you already have. I'm also reading that there's going to be a promotion with something called Golden Tickets, and it says that certain subscribers at random will receive a special giveaway, which will be revealed during their live YouTube unboxing by Potomac Beads. So those may pop up in your package, and you can find more information about that fun promo on their website. So with that information out of the way, I'm excited to get into the actual contents. It looks like we've got things separated into two different packages, one of which appears to be containing all strands. So we'll get into that first and look at these close up one at a time. All right, actually, I'm just going to go down the list one at a time. That'll make more sense, I think. And we're going to start out with our first bag. That contains the Potomac pearls in the 4mm size. The color that I received is called Comet, and I do like the Potomac pearls quite a bit. They have the similar look and feel of high quality check glass pearls, which I really like, so I'm always pleased to work with their house brand. And the color here, this Comet, is sort of a silvery greenish color. It's really lovely. Up next, we have a round 13mm plated toggle in the antique copper color. It's very simple with clean lines, and I like the fact they're coordinating the tone of the metallic components this month. We'll see some additional antique copper. Our third selection is a pack of 5 9mm antique copper plated bales. So here's that selection with that smooth rounded shape and those darker inset divisions showing up on both sides. These giving you a metallic option to add to a gemstone component or other type of bead woven pendant or something else that you can string right onto a necklace. And then our fourth selection contains our final metallic components for this treasure box. It's a pack of 36 copper-plated ball head pins in the 38mm length. So another handy finding to have along with your bead stash. Can always pull from some of these from time to time. And that longer length makes them easy to use in all sorts of different applications. Our next bag contains the Potomac crystal rondelles in a 3x4mm size. These are in that classic icy crystal clear, as you can see with the faceting that is all around the surface, making these very sparkly and reflective, and an easy item to incorporate with a lot of different things because of that very usable size and their lack of additional color. Up next is a bag containing the Eva beads, and mine are in this assortment of all different colors. It is a nice sampler of different colors to work with, and of course you can use these all together because it is a really pretty mix of these different blues and copper, some greens. There is a single purple there. These are a unique 2-hole shaped bead. One hole goes up and down either arm of the shape, and of course there's lots of videos already at Potomac Beads which provide inspiration for this shape. And there's even projects where you can just use, say, one of each in an earring design, so you don't need a whole lot of these necessarily to work with. Up next is this check glass vintage button. I received this one in a jet black opaque with some raised details around the outside of that circular shape and that buttonhole pressed right in at the back. That's certainly a very usable item in its classic shape and size, and of course in the neutral black color. And these always make a great option for an interesting looking clasp. So they've also included some additional accessories and beading supplies, like we have this stainless steel nylon coated beading cable or beading wire. It's a 7-strand variety, and it gives you all the details about its size right there. Very useful to have on hand, and this is in their house brand, Potomac's. And as you can see, there's the color and the way it looks right there on the spool. And it says there's 16.4 feet of this stringing wire included. Our next selection is a bag containing the 4mm Potomac crystal bicones in the Montana color. So these are in their house brand as well, but they're great quality, and I would say on par with other Czech crystals that you may have seen. They're very shiny, they're not cloudy, they're not jagged, they've got cleanly drilled holes, and that classic Montana color, if you're familiar with that in terms of beads that we expect, sort of like a cross between a smoky gray and a navy blue. Our next selection is these two strands, which are the 3mm Czech glass rounds, and they appear to be, the ones I received at least, in a jet black with a little bit of a metallic coating that shows up in some spots, providing a little bit of extra toned down coppery metallic detail. Next on the list is this generous strand of 7mm faceted round fire polish beads. And this is a really stunning combination of this pale gold where you have the opaque metallic coating on parts and then other parts are left more transparent, giving you areas where this is more reflective on the surface and others where that metallic kind of shines through and allows the light to pass through the beads. Up next are the 4mm size Czech smooth round beads in this deep aqua blue color. In the transparent glass, we get a whole strand of those to work with. And I like that we're getting a lot of these very usable sizes and basic shapes like rounds, but also getting some other really interesting things like the Eva beads that may be different and make you think a little bit harder or seek out some new videos and patterns. Our next strand contains the Czech glass nuggets in the 5x7mm size, and I received this transparent sapphire color. You can see that they are similar to a bicone, but they are more compressed and remind me of the Lucerna bicones or the Czech bicones that have those smoothed out and more rounded edges. And our last strand is one that contains the Czech glass leaves in the 9x15mm size, opaque sage green with a silver metallic wash. There you can see a close-up look at the face of one of these beads, that wash bringing out the pressed details in the leaves and showing up on both sides, these leaves having a hole that's drilled at the very top. And then the last two items are more practical to use alongside with your beads and supplies. This is a space saver jar with the stacking containers, 5 round sections that connect together and a cap at the very top. And I like the fact that these are completely clear, they're not cloudy. I like being able to see the exact color of the items that are inside. So of course you can just twist those all apart and change the order of what's stacked inside. And the last item is a very long Potomac Beads branded tote bag. I'll try to open this up a little bit. It is taking up at least twice the size of my filming area, so it's quite a long bag. And of course, who can't use more items like that from time to time to use for storage and maybe taking a beading project or two along with you on the go? So that is everything included in their very first treasure edition of the Best Bead Box reboot. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I really enjoyed checking out the newer version of this smaller box, and I like the fact that it includes full strands of items, which means typically larger quantities of the same things to work with, especially when they are in Czech glass. And like I said, I really do like the Potomac house brand of pearls. The fact that you get some other metallic components that coordinate is helpful, along with other accessories and supplies that may be a little bit more unexpected, but very practical and handy to have. They're also leaving it more up to the subscriber to decide what they want to make with the contents instead of previously getting a kit in the smaller version. So now you can kind of seek out what you want to make based on the contents that you have, or combine them with things that you already have and come up with something. But the fact that they're going to continue providing a lot of inspiration I think is very helpful too, especially for newer beaders. It's also a helpful way to sample different shapes and styles of all the different beads that are out there, especially in the different shapes like the Eva beads. Just receiving one bag of those to play around with, especially if you haven't before. But you're also getting a lot of classic items like the crystal bicones and rondelles and check glass rounds, which are so versatile too. One other thing I didn't mention is that these subscription boxes, they will also be available for sale individually after the month that they are provided to subscribers, but the cost will be higher. So you can get your hands on these boxes after the fact if there's one you might like in particular, but just be prepared that you will be paying more for that box after the fact, since those items will have already been released and the contents shared. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me for the unboxing of this treasure edition of their new Best Bead box. Like I said, you can find all the information you need to know as well on their website, and I will link directly to their subscription page right down below. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel while you're here. I hope to be back in the future with some finished pieces, including some of the items that you see here. And if you want to share your thoughts about the treasure edition of the Best Bead box, feel free to do so right down below in the comment section. Or if there's anything else you'd like to say, I always love to hear from you. And hope you'll come back and join me again. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.